Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Marni von Wilpert. I am our San Diego City Council member for District 5, which encompasses Scripps Ranch, where we are. Very excited to be here today to kick off the improvements for Jerabek Park. I actually grew up here in this district, and I played soccer on those fields right behind us when I was probably half the size of this podium. And we're standing at the site of the Jerabek Christmas tree lighting, which we have every year, which I got my silver award in Girl Scouts setting up the Christmas tree lighting. And now I'm always honored to have our Mayor Todd Gloria come and help and kick off the Christmas tree lighting with us. I also really want to thank one of my mentors as an elected official, Maienschein, who was my predecessor and a city council member here and has never forgotten about this community since he went to Sacramento. And in fact, came back with $3 million to help make sure that we could upgrade and improve Jerabek Park. This has not been improved since I was about the size of the half of this podium. And we're very honored to have the $3 million to make sure that we upgrade the park, put in new equipment that's safe for children and also accessible for folks who may have disabilities. That is so important in our community. So also really honored to be standing here with some incredible city employees, including our Parks and Rec director, Andy Field, and our director. Yes, let's give Andy a round of applause. Yeah? And our city engineer, Rania Amen. Let's give Rania a round of applause. Also a District 5 resident, everybody. And I also want to thank another one of my predecessors, Mark Kersey, for helping shepherd this project along before I got elected. And of course, our leaders in our Scripps Ranch planning group, like our planning group chair, Victoria Bruzzo, who's here with us today. Victoria has been incredibly helpful in making sure that Scripps Ranch has a voice at City Hall. And we always want to hear from you. So thank you so much. And now I am honored to turn it over here to our mayor, who is in Scripps Ranch all the time. And we appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for always coming up and seeing us here in Scripps. So Mayor Todd Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember. And thank you, Sonny.
Yep. Good job, Sonny.
Doesn't hurt to have a dog in politics either. There's the old saying, you want a friend in politics, get a dog. I know this is not your dog, though.
No, it's not my dog.
Marni still needs a friend, everybody. Listen, good morning. Always great to start my day in Scripps Ranch. And yes, we do get out here because Councilmember von Wilpert stays very busy. There's always something to come out here to work on, road repair, other parades, all kinds of stuff. And then today, of course, this announcement. It's great to be here in Jerabek Park to have this moment together, a moment made possible by Assemblymember Maienschein. You know, the city of San Diego has many competing priorities, but we never have enough revenue to meet all of those requests. And that's why we're so grateful to have a legislative delegation in Sacramento, our state senators, our state assembly members, who, as Councilmember von Wilpert mentioned, always keeps an eye back at home, is always asking myself and the council members, how can they help? Brian is chief among them. And when we said that we wanted to see some prioritization of this project, because we know it's that important to Scripps Ranch, Brian didn't hesitate, he didn't blink, he rolled up his sleeves and he got to work. In a difficult budget year, he was able to identify nearly $4 million for this $7 million project. So over half of the funding we need to actually make this a reality. And as you can see today, we're officially breaking ground, although our folks, Rania and her team, got started a little bit early, and that's okay. We've all traditionally in construction, it's a little behind schedule and it's like 2 weeks, right? These guys are on it because we know that it's so important to get this thing done as quickly as possible. I just want to say on behalf of the city of San Diego, thank you, Assemblymember Maienschein, for your help, for your support, for your leadership, for never forgetting home. We appreciate you very much. Round of applause for the Assemblymember, everybody. Let me put this in a little bit of context and then I'll turn it over to our assembly member. Good parks are essential for neighborhood quality of life. And we're working across our city to improve parks that are in desperate need of investment and opening new parks where there haven't been any before. In the last fiscal year, we improved 12 neighborhood parks across the city and we opened 4 new ones. This year, we're anticipating additional improvements at 18 parks and opening 3 new ones. Make no mistake, San Diego, we are getting the job done. And as the council member mentioned, it's not possible without incredible city staff. We are fortunate to have Rania and her team, Andy and his team, really our entire city crews of folks. They know that we have been not always meeting our marks. And they know that I have high expectations, and I would tell you they're meeting those expectations with the resources provided. Anyway, we're going to keep working on this, but those numbers alone of park improvements and park construction, I hope tells you very clearly that we're taking our limited taxpayer dollars and we're investing them where they count in our neighborhoods, where we can make sure that quality of life is improved. I want to tell you that these kinds of things also only happen with the partnership of involved and dedicated neighborhood residents, folks who aren't compensated even a nickel for their time, but they do it because they love their community. And we're going to hear from one of those great leaders in just a moment. Victoria, thank you for your leadership here in the community. Victoria, thank you for your leadership in this community. But I'm in Scripps Ranch. I know my way around this neighborhood. Let me say thank you to Bob Ilko for his continued leadership in this community. We know that Bob wanted to be here today. His schedule did not permit that, but he certainly kept this on my radar. I know he's always in touch with the Council District 5 office. And so, Bob, I know you're not here, but I know you're an often watcher of City Channel 24. Bob and my mom, the two of them watching it all the time. I just want to say, Bob, thank you for your leadership here in Scripps Ranch. We couldn't do this work without you, and we thank you. Now, with great gratitude, it's my pleasure to turn this podium over to a great representative for this community, a man who's been working in elected office for Scripps Ranch for 23 years, my friend, our former council member and your state assembly member, Brian Maienschein. Brian?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for being out here in Scripps Ranch. I also want to thank Councilmember Von Wilpert, who's been a great partner in working with over these past several years. Thank you to everyone who's here for joining us and celebrating this investment in the Scripps Ranch community. I really am proud to have secured $4 million for ADA improvements to Jerabek Park. Marni, you said 3. Just to say, no, but we're happy that we're able to provide that money, and it's going to go for a lot of things. You know, we're going to make these ADA improvements, which will allow for the replacement of the child's play area, a comfort station, a concession stand, flagpole security lighting, and of course the very important ADA improvements. And then we're going to add an outdoor fitness area, accessible bleachers, and new sidewalks. And I have to say, you know, Marni mentioned growing up here playing on these parks. I actually played on that field, both as when I was young and then when I was a little bit older with the old pros. So it's important we get some bleachers out there to watch that really high quality softball that we provide for the community. And I do want to recognize the great city staff. You know, I had the good fortune as city council member to work with many of you, and to the people who are newer, thank you. You know, thank you for coming out here, dedicating your lives and your services to help make our community a better place. And of course, you know, the mayor mentioned Bob Ilko. I should mention Mark Sorensen, but we have so many great community volunteers. You know, I've worked with Gordon for 25 years, Wally, Sandy, and we got really close during the fires. You know, it was mentioned to come back to Scripps Ranch, what that's like, but to me, it always comes back to the fires. And we think about it, and we think about how this community came together during that time. It's a remarkable community with remarkable community leaders. None of this stuff would happen without them. And so thanks to their persistence, we'll be able to bring some really long-awaited necessary improvements to the park. And adults, children, individuals with disabilities will all be able to enjoy this great space to its fullest. And if you think about what these you know, especially for a community like Scripps Ranch, what it means, we really use these. If you come here on a weekend, you will see it's little kids soccer games, little kids softball games, all the way up to the old pros or more adult leagues. Everybody in the community uses these parks. And so finally, we're also going to have increased storage areas. I know the city staff will like that, so our grounds crew can help easily maintain the park. We'll be installing CCTV to make sure that our investment, it's a lot of money that we're putting into this, and we want to make sure that our investment is protected. So with that, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the mayor for his great partnership. It's easy to get him to come up here, and that hasn't always been the case with past mayors who haven't seemed to find their way north enough. And our Mayor Todd Gloria does. I want to thank Councilmember Von Wilpert, the city staff, the great community leaders, and thank you all for taking time to come out here to our park this morning to witness what we're doing here. So thank you all very much. And I guess it's my pleasure to introduce our Scripps Ranch Planning Group Chair, Victoria Labruzzo. Victoria has put in countless hours. She's always had big shoes to fill because we've always had great leaders here in the community, and she's filled them very ably. So it's my pleasure to introduce Victoria.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. Yes, big shoes. I've been doing this for about 2 years. So this is really should be Bob Ilko right now speaking, but as I said, he couldn't join us. So I'm filling his shoes, and a lot of the information I'm going to be giving to you today is based off of Bob's comments. So this is really Bob speaking through me. So again, I'm Victoria Labruzzo. I'm the chair of the Scripps Ranch Planning Group. I've been part of Scripps Ranch for 26 years. My family's lived here. My son has also played Little League on this field. My daughter's done Girl Scouts bridging here. They are both off and in other cities now, grown and gone. First and foremost, as everybody's already said, we want to thank Assemblyman Brian Maienschein and his chief of staff, Lance Whitman. Is he up here? In there. Okay. Thank you, Lance. Like I said, I was given a list of names. I know you didn't want me to mention you, but this is from Bob. We want to thank them for their tremendous fortitude in getting this grant approved. It was a long time in coming. I'd like to thank Mayor Gloria and Councilmember von Wilpert for their support in this endeavor, along with Quentin Grounds, who kept our community very well informed. So thank you, Quentin. He's at every single one of our meetings, and he's always been just a great voice for our community. I'd like to mention, which actually has already been mentioned by everybody, there are many groups and community members throughout Scripps Ranch that are very excited about the improvements coming to Jerabek Park. This park hosts, which you've already heard, recreational soccer, Little League baseball, Old Pros softball every Sunday. That's been going on for a very long time. Girl Scouts bridging ceremonies and their annual Christmas tree lighting, along with all the residents that enjoy the Symphony in the Park holiday concerts. These improvements will enable the disabled members of our community to participate and enjoy more of these events now and into the future, and we do really appreciate that. I do want to thank a few more people from the Scripps Ranch Civic Association and the Planning Group, members such as Mark Sorensen, which was mentioned. He, back in 2011, asked the city for a cost estimate for ADA improvements, and that's really what set the stage. Bob Ilko, our president of the Scripps Ranch Civic Association, Wally Wolfeck, who was my predecessor, and again, big shoes I had to fill with him, but he took the planning group through this whole process, and Gordon Borner, who's right there behind me. He's got a memory like a mine trap, so he knows every figure of everything that we've needed to put together here. I also want to thank Parks and Rec Department, and if I miss people, I apologize. Again, this was from Bob. Jessica Gonzalez, Monica Honore, Joe Henderson, David Astorga, Eileen Rodriguez, Andy Field, and Mark Muncy. So again, thank you, Mayor, Assemblymember, and Councilmember for working with our community now and into the future. We do really appreciate everything you've done for us. Oh, and back to the mayor.
Victoria, great job. Bob would be proud. And thank you so much for your leadership of the planning group. Again, uncompensated service that absolutely makes our neighborhoods and our cities better. So I appreciate all that. Let me just wrap up by saying I love a groundbreaking, but I prefer ribbon cuttings. Look forward to being back here hopefully soon. Check on the progress of the tree lighting with the council members. Is that right? So we'll be back here in a couple months to Christmas, everybody. Jesus. To check on the progress. And apparently I'm the only person that here hasn't played on this field. But I have visited the Tia Leo's many occasions down the street, and I probably should play here a little more often. So I look forward to coming back and enjoying these amenities with the Scripps Ranch community. And again, deep appreciation for the teamwork that gets this job done. The city, our state assembly member, the community. This is how we're making sure that neighborhoods get their due, that we get work done, and that we create a city that works for all of us. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this milestone. See you back here for the ribbon cutting, not too distant future. Thanks, everybody.